Welcome to the Lady Gang. You're about to listen to our podcast, but there is so much more our community has to offer. Follow us at the Lady Gang, join our secret Facebook group, shop our clothing line, books, and find out when we're going to be in your city at theladygang.com. We're so excited you're here. Enjoy the show.
It's time for a Quickie.
Podcast One presents The Lady Gang, the Hollywood Girl Posse, with Lady Gang Quickie. Here's Kelty Knight, Becca Tobin, and Jack Vanek.
Let's make this quick.
Hello. Welcome to Lady Gang Quickie. I am Becca here with Jack and Kelty, and today is a very special day. Our sweet little Chelsea, Lady Gang, our right-hand woman, introduced us to her version of Beyonce.
Oprah.
Her Oprah. She is a zero-waste goddess, and she said, if you are into this and you want to have her come on and talk all things, if you want to have someone come on and talk all things zero waste, this is the only person you can talk to. She's amazing. She's wonderful. And Kelty, take it away.
Okay, so here's the real story is that if you're on a hike right now or you're in your car, I need you to look down at your Starbucks cup and I need you to look, is it reusable? Or are you using a once waste plastic? Because if you are, this episode's for you. And I'm just going to take a quick sip out of my Hydro Jug. This episode brought to you by Hydro Jug. This is my reusable giant water. So anyway, our guest today has been zero waste since 2012. She's known for claiming to have collected all of the waste she created since 2012 in a 16-ounce mason jar. She's the founder and CEO of Package Free Shop. Not only that, but she was celebrated on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. Her site, Trashes for Tossers, makes living a zero waste life simple, cost-effective, and fun. She even has tips for earth-friendly sexual liaisons, guys. She's going to teach us all to be better about our wasteful lives. Please welcome Lauren Singer.
What an introduction. I love it. I'm so excited.
So when Chelsea started working with us, my bathtub right now in the office is full of like packaging that has been sent to me and we reuse everything. Like she really changed our lives. So I want to know, like, when did you realize that you were gluttonous and collecting things and wanted to change the world?
So for me, everything really started in college. I went to NYU and I studied environmental science and spent most of my time in college protesting, because I think when you're young and you're angry and you're overwhelmed with all of the things that you see happening to the planet, you want to take action, and protesting is, a really amazing way to channel all of that energy. And at the time, climate activism was really on the rise, especially around the oil and gas industry and protesting fracking. So, there were activists circling the White House in protest of climate change and atmospheric carbon, and protesting against the oil and gas industry in DC and lobbying really aggressively. So it was just like an amazing time to be in the movement. But at the same time, I had this really overwhelming feeling around the fact that I was blaming everyone else for the state of the world. I was blaming the big businesses. I was blaming the oil and gas industry. I was blaming politicians, and definitely they're to blame, but also at the same time, asking myself, what is my part in this? Do I have the ability to contribute more than just with my activism by holding signs in the street, which is amazing. Grassroots activism is so important, but is there more that I can do? And around that time, I started learning about the impacts of methane on the environment, which I can get to a little bit later. But everything for me really started when I was in a class and there was a girl in there. It was an environmental science class, the last class we actually had to take before graduating. So 4 years of science. And she would bring this big plastic bag with a plastic clamshell full of food and a plastic fork and knife and a bag of chips and a Gatorade. And she would eat everything, drink everything, and then just throw it in the trash every single class. And I would look at her and be like, this is so weird. We are studying environmental science. We're trying to make the planet better. But you're being so wasteful. And I just thought she was the worst person. I would just stare at her and judge her. And one day after class, I went home to start making my dinner, and I opened up my refrigerator and realized that every single thing that I had in there was packaged in plastic, from, eggs and frozen vegetables and juice and whatever. And then started looking around my apartment more and realized that it wasn't just my fridge. It was, my single-use coffee cups for my Keurig. It was my beauty products. All of my makeup was packaged in plastic. All of my face care, all of my body care, my shampoo, my conditioner, my brush was made out of plastic. All of my cleaning products. Walked into my closet. I was studying environmental science, but buying fast fashion, right? So everything was made out of petroleum, plastic. And I realized that I had been protesting the oil and gas industry for years, but every day, dozens of times per day, through my purchasing decisions and my consumption habits, I was supporting the industry. So I had this realization where I was like, I need to stop using plastic now. And I thought that I could do it cold turkey and walk into CVS and buy all of my beauty products and my makeup and everything without plastic. But even today, you can't really walk into CVS and buy anything without plastic. I think they even package all candy now in plastic, whereas it used to be paper. So it's really hard. And I realized it wasn't going to just be like I'm going to buy my way out of this situation. So I had to start making all my own beauty products, all my own cleaning products, my toothpaste, my deodorant. And that really led me to start Trash is for Tossers, which was kind of my way to document my journey to reduce my plastic and ultimately my trash to zero.
Wow.
It's so crazy to me. It's not crazy, but I think it's really interesting. And I do think we've come a long way as far as like, listen, I think there's people like you who are going to be able to be 100%. And then the other part of the universe is like, you've really woken a lot of people up to at least be better than we are. Do you know what I mean? Like definitely make some changes in our lives. And I really want this podcast to be a wake-up call for our community so we can kind of go through our lives and be like, well, what would Lauren do in this particular situation? Like, I just got like this toothpaste, this Bite brand that like it's instead of being in a plastic tube, it's like this little thing and you eat it and then you brush your teeth and it's like, all no waste, right? It comes like in a glass thing. So I really want to talk through some of the places of our lives where we can make these positive changes and hopefully we'll, really, I'm not being so eloquent. We're on hour 4.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's like every little bit helps. And I think it seems really daunting. Like you were saying, it's really daunting. It's comforting to know that you took little steps to get to where you are. So for people who are just starting, just trying to be better, like what is your first suggestion to people?
And let's start kitchen, because grocery shopping, like we were just saying, like it's Sunday morning, you're like coming from the farmer's market, like because everything is in plastic. I go to the grocery store, everything, even the lettuce. Like, what do you do when you walk in a grocery store?
And I think it's important even before that, just to preface that, like when I started living this lifestyle, it was totally for myself. And it was to be like, how do I align my everyday actions with my values for sustainability? Because I didn't want to be this hypocrite walking around protesting the oil and gas industry, but at the same time using all of these products. So I was like, this is a project to see if I can actually reduce my plastic and my waste to zero. Because when you throw that stuff into landfills, it creates methane, which is more potent of a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide over a 100-year time frame. So ultimately, my goal is to help to mitigate climate change and create a more livable planet for people, right? And it was never saying like everyone needs to live a zero waste lifestyle. Like this is for everybody. It's more of like this is what I needed to do for myself to feel comfortable speaking about what I was speaking. I really needed to live my values. And I think ultimately what it did was just unearth a big problem, which is even if people want to live sustainably, it's really,
really
historically been super hard, inconvenient, and not even from the individual consumption perspective. Like there are no regulations. I own a consumer product business, but there are hardly any regulations or checks around consumer product companies, right? There's a manufacturer can make any product with any packaging, pretty much with effectively any ingredients, release it out into the market, and there are no, there's no responsibility for the maker really. Even if it makes people sick, it's super hard to get products pulled from the market. And, there's no regulations around what type of waste that product creates or releases once it's manufactured. And that's a problem. And also in this country, our end of life, our waste management is abysmal. We hardly have recycling anywhere. There's no federal regulations around making state by state infrastructure similar. We hardly have any composting. We definitely don't have industrial composting. So really, these individual steps are amazing, right? Because the average American makes about 4.5 pounds of trash per person per day. Trash that ends up in a landfill, right? Over 3,000 pounds per year. And that makes methane, which I mentioned is not great for climate change. And it's amazing for individuals to take these steps, but it has to be coupled with federal law. It has to be coupled with, ending fossil fuel subsidies, which artificially decreases the cost of oil and gas, which makes plastic, which is why it's so cheap. There's so many things that need to happen. So for me, I wanted to live my day-to-day life in a way that was like, okay, I'm just one person. What can I do? What do I have control over? My waste was a really good thing, right? There's 3 main sources of man-made methane. It's natural gas, but it's hard to decide where our energy comes from as individuals. There's animal agriculture. So we could all, try to decrease our meat consumption. That's awesome. But some people don't want to. So waste is kind of like the next best thing. So that's really why I focused on trash. And again, it's not like everyone should live this lifestyle or else. Like it's more like if you want to take steps to reduce your waste, which I found also helps me save money, become more of a minimalist and feel like I'm doing my part, which is good from an emotional perspective because it's so overwhelming out there. Reducing your waste is a good place to start. So to go back to your question, sorry, that was a really long tangent.
No, it's nice to know like why, the reason why,
I love this.
Well, there are so many people out there too. I feel like with the reason why that there's like a lot of shaming that goes on for people that like aren't living a lifestyle like that. So hearing from you that you're just trying to align with your values of what you're fighting for, like that is, I love that. So nice to hear.
I mean, we're all just trying to do our best. So
we really are.
How can I try to do my best every day? What are my values and how can I try to align with them more? Like how can I try to leave this world better than when I came, right? And I'm not going to be perfect every day. None of us are. We're dealing with the resources and options that we have. And so basically I took this like individual concept and then later tried to turn it into a business and a platform to make it even more convenient. And that's why I think individual empowerment is really important because it's not just my trash. It's like, what can I do with this information to make it more convenient and accessible for people, which has grown into something so much bigger than me making or not making trash. And that's why I think like we're just one person, but we really can make a difference. So I always like to talk about that, but we can totally now get into the practical how-tos.
I love this so much. Okay. So you're going in and I'm buying groceries. I'm an everyday lady who has 1 hour and I'm bringing my own bags. Obviously I'm not that much of an asshole. And I'm walking in and everywhere I turn, something's in plastic. What am I doing?
Okay. So before you even get to the store, I'd say important to make a shopping list. Love making a shopping list because it's important for me to look at my calendar, seeing like, do I have lunches this week, dinners this week? Oh, I actually only have 2 meals at home. How many meals does my boyfriend need to eat? Whatever. And then I plan accordingly around that. That not only helps me reduce food waste, but save a lot of money. I used to be such an impulse shopper at the grocery store and buy so much stuff that I didn't need that I wouldn't end up eating. And, one of the biggest wastes of money that we have in our lives is wasted food, right? Which ends up in landfills and, makes methane, again, back to climate change. So making a shopping list, super important from a climate and wallet perspective. So once I get to the store, I try really hard to buy fruits and vegetables that are unpackaged. And again, it's often true that unpackaged, unwashed produce is less expensive. So I'll stick to that. And then like some proteins. So we'll eat eggs. Sometimes he'll eat fish. And I'll have that wrapped in paper instead of plastic. And for pastas, if there isn't bulk, trying to stick to things that are packaged in metal. So cans, because aluminum is very likely to be recycled if you end up sending it to recycling. And then paper, which is likely to be recycled or it's compostable.
Mm.
There you go. So what happens when I need to go to McDonald's? Do you just like,
can't.
do you just look at that as like a complete wash, like it's an off day, or like there's really nothing to be done?
Can you ask them for your food without the bag?
I mean, fast food packaging is, a lot of it is plastic free. I'm trying to think of the things that are packaged in plastic when you go to get fast food, like the lid of your cup, and the straw, and like, I don't know, does McDonald's even give utensils? I don't think so. Like we're all,
So it's safe.
Like
Paper.
just dump the fries in my hand.
I mean, look, bigger picture is like reducing your waste or doing like anything. I believe like shouldn't feel like a sacrifice. I think one of the things that I always say is, look in your garbage cans, which is disgusting for people, but I don't know if you don't want to do it, whatever, but I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
See what you're throwing away and see if you can find one thing that you'd be okay with saying goodbye to. So maybe it's, something as simple as plastic water bottles and you get a couple reusables and a filter, or, you want to step it up a little bit and say goodbye to like Q-tips or cotton balls, or even, tampons and pads there are reusable alternatives for. So I always suggest to just find one thing and then go to the alternative. You don't have to like stop everything that you're doing in your life, change all of your habits and become a completely different person. That's ridiculous and just not sustainable, not from like an ecological perspective, from like a human perspective. It takes time to change our habits and to form different routines. So, I think starting small is good. I always suggest like use through one of your consumable products. Like consumables are great places to start. If you finish all of your shampoo packaged in plastic, you can try out a shampoo bar or a different deodorant or a different toothpaste or a toothbrush or floss or any of those things that you would buy again and again.
Hello, you sexy ass bitches. This week's theme for Lady Secrets is friendship. And when you think of friendship, you always think about, the good bonds that you have with your girlfriends. But I know that you've done some fucked up shit to a friend before, and we want to hear about it. You need to write us in your cringy, shameful, guilty secrets. You can write us at theladysecrets.com about, getting caught shit-talking your friend. Maybe you slept with your friend's dad. I want to know how that was. Or do you just constantly social climb your way to the top? Get this shit off your chest and write to us at theladysecrets.com, or you can call and leave us a little voice note if you prefer talking. 1-844-SEXY-LADY. That's 1-844-SXY-LADY. Make these stories juicy. We want the juice.
Brooklinen.com is going to have not just your favorite sheets, towels, home products, all of that. Now they have the greatest, and I'm telling you, greatest loungewear that I have not taken off my body. There's no buttons. There's no zippers. It's just soft, luxurious material. And the fit is so great. It's actually loungewear you can wear outside and not be embarrassed. I love Brooklinen so much. Their loungewear is so classic, so soft. And if you're looking for more ways to enhance your comfort, check out their candles, eye masks, and accessories to properly celebrate your chill. They're so major over at Brooklinen. They get it right every time. So go on, get comfortable, and get it for less at Brooklinen. Go to brooklinen.com and use promo code LADIES to get $20 off with a minimum purchase of $100. That's BROOKLINEN.com. Enter promo code LADIES for $20 off with a minimum purchase of $100. Brooklinen.com, promo code LADIES. Get comfy.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Is there something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? I know how revolutionary therapy has been for me. I just think that there's still so much stigma about getting help with your life, and there shouldn't be. BetterHelp assesses your needs and matches you with your own licensed professional therapist, and you can start communicating in under 48 hours. So by the time Thursday hits, you could already be in therapy. The service is available to clients worldwide, and you can log into your account anytime and send a message to your therapist. I love this option because sometimes when you're in the middle of a meltdown, you just need to like vent, and you don't want to forget about those feelings. And then later when you have your scheduled appointment, your therapist can write back to you, or you can talk about it in detail. And I just think that's really genius. So visit betterhelp.com/LadyGang. That's HELP, and join the over 2 million people who've taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. And we have a special offer. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/LadyGang. That's 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/LadyGang.
Okay, ladies, you know we love our Express clothing over here. We have just been so excited to announce to you that they have a new fall wardrobe with the season's collection of versatile mix and match styles from Express. So it's all new and made to #ExpressYou. Confidence boosting styles for real life versatility, comfort, and quality. So I want to tell you about this amazing thing called the Flex X jeans. Bodies change, and now your denim flexes with you. That's right. It fits up to 3 sizes all in one pair. So it's 24/7 comfort, flexible waist size, and it's a really cool concept. You don't have to fluctuate with your jeans as your body fluctuates, you know, with your cycle or whatever it is. So we love it so much. And I also want to talk to you about their body contour collection. It is smooth sculpt, defined your silhouette. It holds you in while staying comfortable. 1,400 rave reviews and counting. Breathable knit fabric. We love it so much. It's available in compression and high compression. We just love Express, and we want you to head over there and freshen up your wardrobe.
The Lady Gang.
The package-free movement lost me at the reusable toilet paper. Like I can't
I was
go
literally
there.
just thinking about toilet paper. I'm
Same.
like, what are you
They
doing?
have it. They have like, because you know people
We
use
do. Yeah, we
reusable diapers.
definitely do sell that. And so it's
How do you
not
wash
so
it?
so basically how that works is it's meant for use with a bidet. So
Oh.
it's not like you use it
Mm.
on a dirty
Right.
butt.
bum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you washing that? That's gotta like get around in your washing machine.
I have a girlfriend in Canada who did reusable diapers for both of her kids.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing where you just like
Yeah.
rinse and you go. And this
And they
is
make baby bidets too. So it's just like a little spray and clean.
Oh,
Yeah. It's like a
wow.
little attachment. Which I've heard is actually really helpful for people because all of the waste becomes really overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I think having a baby is really hard. I don't know personally, but from what I've heard. So, you know, if that's not the step you want to take in your life, I fully support you. But it is a great option. And again, like reusable toilet paper sounds really extra for people, especially us as Americans. But if you go to Italy or something where they all use bidets and you're like,
Yeah.
you know, they use towels to dry themselves. It's better to think of it like that.
Mhm.
I have a question. So I'm like browsing your site as we're like doing this podcast right now because there's so many,
So great.
so many products. What have you found to be like the best kind of like a life hack when it comes to that? Or what's your best discovery when it comes to these like package free products or reusable products?
Oh my gosh, I have so many favorites.
What's the best product in your shower?
In my shower, I will either use a shampoo bar or we have these like metal packaged shampoo and conditioners that are great. And then I have one of our steel razors that's like a reusable plastic free razor, which I love.
Mhm.
And then on my bathroom, like whatever by my sink, I have a bamboo toothbrush, the toothpaste packaged in metal. I have our floss that we make it package free. And then I have the tea tree charcoal facial bar. And then I'll use different moisturizers. So I use the juniper carrot seed oil that we have from my friend Tara. And then, but my favorite,
I feel like beauty is one of the
product-
easiest spots because I feel like a lot of beauty products are getting sort of more woke to that we want things in like
Totally.
metal or glass for sure.
That's so true. But I would say my favorite thing is the menstrual cup. It changed my life. I think for some people, it's a lot and it's weird and it's disgusting, but it saves thousands of dollars, tons of waste, and is so much more comfortable, in my opinion, than tampons. When I remember I worked, so my job out of college was working at this government agency in this huge, like horribly dark, terrible dungeony building with the most disgusting bathrooms you could ever imagine. And the idea of like touching myself in one of those bathrooms to remove or like insert a tampon was horrendous. And that was actually my catalyst for using a menstrual cup. And I was like, wait, you can like poop and pee with a menstrual cup in, whereas like with a tampon, you have to change it every time. And I don't know, something about that felt really clean to me. So it empowered me from a cleanliness perspective. And then it was also super sustainable and saved a lot of money.
Love a menstrual cup. Chelsea, our lovely Chelsea I was like, this is something I'm never going to be able to do. I really felt like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I'd been using tampons for a million years. Chelsea just said to me, try it once. Just try it one time. You should try everything once. She gave me a tutorial. Conveniently, I was on my period. I went into the bathroom and I was like, fine, totally wanted to hate it. I texted her the next day and said, this was the best thing you've ever made me do. It's something that it doesn't sound great. At first you're like, wait, this whole thing doesn't totally make sense to me. And then when you do it in practice, it is so amazing. And like
totally.
The other thing, tampons feel archaic to me.
Yeah. Let's like shove some gauze up our vag.
Yeah. Like it just feels not okay.
And did you know not most, but a good percentage of tampons and pads actually aren't even made from cotton. They're made from synthetic fibers. So not only are we shoving gauze, it's gauze made of plastic. So that's pretty gross.
Great.
And then I wanted to briefly touch on home, because this is actually, I think, one of the easiest places for me has been to change things in my house, like get rid of my paper towels and then I just remember going and like every month buying a new bottle of Windex and a new bottle of soft scrub and a new bottle of cleaning stuff, and got involved with these little tablets. They're like an Alka-Seltzer. Keep the same old bottle and put it in, because it's crazy when you think about it, but we're actually just sending giant bottles of water all over the world. Like when you order from Amazon or you order from anywhere, your cleaning products are like this much cleaning product. And then you're just like lugging a big bottle of water into your house from Costco. So it's like to be able to have these little tabs and put them in. I've been doing that, and it's been really easy for me. So do you have any suggestions on like other home hacks?
Definitely. If you want to go very DIY, I use vinegar to clean a lot. I love vinegar. I think it's an amazing cleaner, and you can just put essential oils of like lime or lemongrass or grapefruit in it to kind of get rid of the vinegary smell, but it only lasts
where do you get
a few minutes.
Vinegar? Because the vinegar comes in a plastic tub.
You could get vinegar. Heinz makes like a glass packaged vinegar. But if you are going to buy vinegar, in a non-glass container, I would suggest getting the biggest one possible in like one of those thick plastic jugs. Not that I'm an advocate of buying plastic, but from an accessibility perspective, also vinegar is super affordable. And the thick, rigid plastic is likely a number 1 or number 2 plastic, which are some of the more likely plastics to be recycled.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I feel like I need a whole class on all the meaning, like all the numbers and recycling. Like I totally forgot they have numbers until you just said that. And also I feel like I need a field trip to the dump or something to see like what happens after I drop it off in my trash can. Like, where does it go next? Do they sort through your garbage? Like, this is another thing that people talk about is that, you don't actually have to recycle. Like they take it to the same place, or they'll go through your trash and they'll take out what's recyclable. Like, is any of that true?
So it depends.
Okay.
It depends on where you live. And earlier I was talking about like this total lack of federal law that kind of creates universal standards for waste management. So one thing that's like incredibly frustrating is, and these are the things that keep me up at night, welcome, are like green means paper in one place, but like glass in another. Blue can mean paper in one place and metal in another. Brown can be composting, or it could be like paper recycling. So it's all super confusing. And each state, each city, each little municipality has its own waste management. So some cities in America don't even recycle or take recyclables. So they are just landfilled, and some do, and some have really comprehensive infrastructure. So big cities are obviously, more financially resourced. And so they likely have better infrastructure. So in New York City, we have a really great recycling infrastructure where to decide like what type of plastic it is, they use this thing called an optical sorter, which is kind of like a laser eye that helps to separate everything. So it has a really good chance of being recycled. But like the cool thing with recycling is that what determines whether or not something is recycled is really the value of the recycled material. So things like rigid plastics, metals, some glass have a really high likelihood of being recycled because it can be reused, but metal is definitely the most likely to be recycled. So if you are going to buy things packaged, metal is usually a good one.
Wow. So interesting. Last thing, Lauren, before we let you go, earth-friendly sex. This one's for you, Chels. So she says like, if you need to wear a condom, wear a fucking condom. Like, first of all, like,
totally.
please put a condom on the penis. But now take us through earth-friendly sex.
So it's definitely complex because obviously like we all want to protect against unwanted pregnancies and STDs. So if there is one place in your life where you're going to make waste, protecting your body is definitely one of them. And I said the same thing around, taking precautions for COVID, right? Like we just need to wear a mask, right? Like not a big deal, make the waste, keep yourselves in our community healthy. So for sex, if you are wearing a condom, I don't want to like discriminate against condom brands, but there are some that are more sustainable than others. There are some that are made and marketed to and for women, which I like. I like the idea of women taking control of their sexual health and wellness. So I really like supporting brands that advocate for that. And then from a lubricant perspective, a lot of them are actually made from synthetic ingredients. So like a petroleum-based lubricant, which is not great. So I love using things like coconut oil or jojoba oil. They shouldn't be mixed. Like coconut oil shouldn't be mixed with a condom because it can cause it to rip. But for other things, it's a great option.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think you need to write a memoir, and the title should be something about like the only thing left is condoms. Like we've eliminated
all waste and it's just a giant pile of condoms.
Well, that was going to be my question for you. Cause every time I talk about you to someone, I always say you have to see her mason jar. Like that's how you explain how amazing you are at this work. But what is in your mason jar? Like, what is this like pesky thing in your life that you can't get, like that you haven't been able to eliminate?
So the things that I still add to the jar are those little pieces of plastic that connect a piece of clothing to the price tag. Like think of how many of those little thingies there are. It's so ridiculous, but whoever's making them must make a ton of money. So those, historically I had Band-Aids, but now we sell biodegradable options at package free. There are festival bracelets in there. For anyone that's gone to music festivals. You'd think that like 2021, we're going to space. Like, shouldn't we have solutions for plastic things and festival bracelets? But it's, obviously hasn't historically been a priority, but I look at all of the things in the jar as opportunities for innovation, for entrepreneurship. Produce stickers. Why are they still made of plastic? How is there not a better option? They're just opportunities and they're little problems, right? Getting rid of produce stickers isn't going to make or break climate change, but it's one small thing and it's an opportunity and it can be improved. So how can we all take little steps to make things just a little bit better?
What about my underwear when I'm done with it? Like if I wear it out.
It's a good question.
Yes. What do you do?
So there are great clothing take back programs. So first of all, I always recommend using 100% natural or like cotton, ideally if you can, organic cotton underwear, just because it's better for your vaginal health, or for men or any identifier. It's just better to have natural fabrics down there. And then there are take back programs. My friend at a company called 4 Days actually has a take back bag on her website where you can send all of the clothing that you don't want or need back. And it's prevented from ending up in landfill.
Cool.
Oh my God, amazing.
I love that.
It's such a cool company. She's LA based, I think, as well.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
This is just the beginning of our journeys. Lauren is so inspirational. You must follow her at Package Free Shop if you want to buy any of the products that she talked about. I mean, there's so many more. You can also follow her at Trashes for Tossers or trashesfortossers.com. I think this is really cool. And we weren't here for a long time, but we were here for a
good
trashy time.
Trashy.
Thanks for listening. The Lady Gang is produced by Alex Ingber, Steve Delameter, and Jared Monaco. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And if you love it, share it with your friends on social media. Like, oh my God, I just listened to Lady Gang. This episode's so great. Swipe up to listen. And if you really want to, which we know you do, please follow us on social at Kelty, at Becca, at Jack Vanek, and at The Lady Gang. Sign up for our newsletter at theladygang.com and join our secret Facebook group. It's super fun. See you next Tuesday.